Welcome, everybody, to the Niner Fanatic Podcast pregame show. My name is Peter Lucas, and I am really excited for the final game of the regular season. 49ers 9-7, Rams 12-4. Let's go. It's last game of the regular season. Everything to play for. Both teams have everything to play for. 49ers are playing just to get into the playoffs. Rams are they're playing for seeding, essentially. If they lose this game, they could fall to the 5th seed. So they absolutely have something to play for. Also, they don't want to see the 49ers in the playoffs. With the history that they have against the 49ers in the last 5 games, they don't want to see the 49ers in the playoffs. So they have just want to get rid of this team and send them home for the season. But it's another must-win game. And I feel like I say that every week, but it truly is a must-win game because the 49ers really, essentially, it's win or go home. Because we cannot trust the Falcons to beat the Saints. If the Saints lose, then we're in regardless. But we can't trust the Falcons to beat the Saints. The Falcons are a bad team. So let's just come on, Niners. Like we need this victory to have momentum. Not just to get to the playoffs, but have momentum going into the playoffs to know that we can beat those better teams. The last better team that we played, the Titans, it didn't end so well. And granted, a lot of that was because of our quarterback situation, basically. So we have something to prove in this game, I really feel. And the Rams also have something to prove that they can beat a physical team because the 49ers are definitely a physical team. So Kyle said he's not going to tell anybody who the quarterback's going to be until Sunday. We're all waiting on pins and needles to see if it's going to be Trey or Jimmy. I personally hope it's Trey, but I could see how it could be Jimmy. It's gonna be Jimmy says that he's in pain, like when he throws, which is, I mean, I know that they can just shoot up if it's just a pain threshold issue. The NFL has had cortisone shots forever and a day, and they can numb you up and you won't feel it. But he's been seen in practice throwing the ball, so we know he's capable. If it's a pain issue, we know that he can go, but I just don't see a reason why. Trey showed the explosiveness that he had. He showed that he can learn from his mistakes, and I really would have liked to see Trey get a chance to grow. And but I'm not Shanahan's the coach. I'm not the coach. So he knows what he wants to do with his team. And Trey's been practicing all week with the ones. He spoke at the press conference today. Seemed to be in good spirits. Hopefully that means he's going to start because usually when they talk at they let him talk at the press conference, he's usually going to start. So we're hoping, but nobody knows. Will the Rams continue to be the 49ers whipping boy, or do they get the monkey off their back and send the 49ers home for the season? I think I said this in the last game that they played, that I don't care about the recent history, and every game is its own, is unique, and all situations are unique, and this is a real big opportunity for the Rams to show that they can beat a physical team. They're a finesse team. I don't think there's any getting around that. They had one physical player on their team. I mean, other than Aaron Donald, but they had one other physical player on offense in Woods, and then he went down. So I just don't know who they go to for that type of play, like when you need those tough yards. But let's just talk about the Rams a little bit. They're 12-4. McVay has some kind of mental block against Shanny. He's 0-5 and out of his last 5 against him. Rams have a 5-game winning streak coming into this game. Matt Stafford, even with the perceived ups and downs he's had in the last, like the second half of the season, um, he's still, if he has a good day, he's going to hit 5,000 yards for the season, and possibly 40 touchdowns. So I mean, right now he's got 46 or 47 100 yards and 38 touchdowns. So it's conceivable that he could get to that 5,040 touchdown, which is, I mean, that's the best year, one of his, that would be one of his best years ever. So I feel like he's having a really good. It just goes to show what happens when guys with talent get on good teams, and it shows what he was capable, what he probably could have been capable of this whole time if he had been with a better organization. Um, but still, he does have 15 interceptions this season, and he is not immune to throwing the costly pick. So, but the 49ers don't do a great job of picking the ball off. They don't do a good job of getting turnovers. So, uh, who knows? Who knows? But the if he the running back situation for the Rams, it's kind of a fluid situation. Cam Akers, it looks like he's going to come back this week. Uh, he's probably going to share carries. Even if he does, I'm pretty sure he's going to start. But like even he's probably going to share time with Sony Michel. Sony Michel and him are going to he's going to be probably on a pitch count, I would assume, because they're going to want him for the playoffs. And Sony Michel has been a pretty solid back for the past few games. So I fully expect them to trust in Sony Michel and just kind of use Cam Akers as kind of a change of pace. But they got Cooper Kupp, and he's had a historic season. But I will tell you this: I don't want to hear any receiver in today's game ever compared to Jerry Rice. I'm so tired of listening to these guys on Twitter and ESPN compare Cooper Kupp to Jerry Rice, who came in during an era of actual defense and played less games. And I mean, it's Jerry Rice. It's Jerry Rice. The man played in, like I said, he played in an era where you could touch guys and hold guys and kill guys over the middle. And Cooper Kupp is basically allowed to do whatever he wants to on the field with no repercussions. So I just never want to hear. I don't want to hear. That's the last time I'm even going to mention of that, because it doesn't even deserve to be mentioned, really. But Odell Beckham is now on the team. He was signed a few games back, and he's kind of had a little bit of a resurgence. He had a really good game last game, and he may be the X factor in this game, because as we know, the 49ers, the corner situation is and I mean, we do, and I'll get to this in a little bit, but we do have some bright spots to talk about on the defense. But yeah, Beckham, it could be the X factor in this game. So I'm keeping my eye on him. The defense, their defense led by Aaron Donald, who also has some kind of mental block against the 49ers. I mean, somehow he allows, I mean, it's kind of a running joke on Twitter, but he somehow lets our right guard just destroy him, and our right guard kind of suck. I mean, he doesn't suck, but Brunskill is really not that great. And I mean, he's never going to be on a top list of anything. So he's serviceable, but the fact is that the Brunskill should not even be in anywhere in the same room as Donald. But somehow he always seems to get really good reps against Aaron Donald. And I think the 49ers really frustrate Aaron Donald. As you can see, last time they played, he's slamming his helmet up against the ground. But Jalen Ramsey, they got Jalen Ramsey as their corner, and he's the one guy in the secondary the 49ers do not want to try. No matter who is QBing, we don't want to be throwing anywhere near Jalen Ramsey in this game. But this team totally can be physically dominated on both sides of the ball. The 49ers have proven that their offense likes to hit guys in the mouth, and their defense and the Rams defense have the last 5 games have just taken it, and their run game has just really kind of dominated them. So it's really going to be interesting to see if that continues, or do the Rams just man up in this game and just get physical. Are they capable of getting physical and matching that physicality the 49ers are going to bring? But let's move on to the 49ers offense. Trent Williams and Jimmy are the questionable ones on the injury report. But I mean, I'm pretty positive that Trent is going to play in this game. I don't think we have any worries about is Trent Williams going to play. And he has been rock solid all season long. Our offensive line has been really good. I would say probably as far as the second half of the season goes, they have been really good. They've been really good. And I want to say since McGlinchey went down. Yeah, I don't think we're even missing McGlinchey, and Tom Compton is playing in his spot. So Tom Compton is, I mean, a journeyman. I think it's a testament to the 49ers the offensive line coach that he's kind of pieced these guys together into a really good viable unit. So but who's the QB going to be? That's what everybody wants to know. Who is the QB going to be on Sunday? Is it going to be Trey or is it going to be Jimmy? My personal preference, like I said before, is Trey, but I understand if Kyle goes with Jimmy. I really don't, but I do, because Kyle is Kyle. He has his reasons for everything that he does, and I mean, it's not our choice as fans. So, and you've got your Jimmy fans and you got your Trey fans. I don't really care about all of the Hatfield McCoy nonsense, but I just care about what I see on the field, and what I see is I feel Trey gives us a better chance to be explosive, and I just feel like he has more, and not upside is not the word. Upside is not the word. I just feel like he's a steadier hand. He learns from his mistakes, and that's what we saw in the last game. That's the real difference between him and Jimmy. Jimmy doesn't learn from his mistakes. He's going to stay throwing that ball in the same spot. He's going to stay throwing it high. He's going to stay throwing should-be picks to guys. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So my personal preference is Trey, but it is what it is. We're going to live with whoever Kyle puts out there. We're going to root this team on, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I have faith that Kyle knows what he's doing in this situation, and we're just going to root the team on. So, but this offense has dominated the Rams historically with the run game and the short passing. And no matter who the QB was, because they've beaten him with Mullins, they've beaten him with Beathard, they've beaten him with Jimmy. So it doesn't really matter who's in there. And I think that might be what Kyle's thinking, is that he might just want to go with somebody that knows that he already is comfortable knowing that he can do the whole short pass game thing. And but Trey looked great last week in the second half. I'm just gonna say it again. He looked great in the second half, but can the 49ers afford a slow start like he had in the first half? That's the question. And I think that's what Kyle's asking himself, is can they afford a slow start in this game? Because the Rams, no matter what we think about having them dominated, We they're possibly explosive. They can explode on teams. And so but Jimmy's style is perfect for the weakness of this Rams team. I mean, they're gonna run the ball 35 plus times, and he's gonna throw his little short passes across the middle of the field and screens and that kind of stuff. Very rarely will you see him throw it to the boundary, but with the Rams linebackers being as bad as they are, I feel like that's why it didn't matter what QB was out there. If they can throw those little crossers and those slants across the middle, this Rams defense can be had. So, but I really think that's why they've been moving Jalen Ramsey around in this defense to kind of try and confuse whoever is out there so that they won't take advantage of those linebackers. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see this Sunday. And like I said earlier, it's really hard to kind of project what's going to happen when you don't know which quarterback is going to be playing. But Elijah Mitchell he has no injury designation for this game. And he's probably going to see 25 plus carries. I gotta believe he is. I'd like to see them mix in a little JaMychal Hasty and Jeff Wilson in this game to keep Elijah healthy, especially if Elijah breaks off a few big runs. I'd like to see them mix in some of the other guys to give him a break, because if the 49er offense explodes like they're capable of, they're going to need Elijah Mitchell going into the playoffs if they make the playoffs. So they have to even though they're going to go kind of balls to the wall, they have to prepare as if they're going to be in the playoffs. So while I expect him to get 25 plus carries, I kind of want to see them kind of taper that off a little bit. But Debo is also going to be a part of the run game. You know that. More so if Jimmy's starting. If Jimmy starts, he is going to be a huge part of the running game. I expect him to get at least 10 carries. But how many does he get in this one? If Trey starts, I only expect he might get 5. I think that it's because it's a whole different. I think even though I don't think that they should run a different offense when Trey is in there, I think he trusts Trey to pass the ball a little bit more than he trusts Jimmy. So, but I think it just all depends on who the QB is. Both QBs need to stay away from Ramsey. That's for sure. Ramsey we cannot allow him to be a factor in this game. But the beauty of the 49er offense is that they have so many weapons, from Ayuk to Debo to Kittle to Mitchell and even Jennings at this point, and they've got Sanu coming back. I hope he doesn't even play. But they have so many weapons on this team, so many guys capable, that Ramsey, you should be able to go away from Ramsey, whatever side he's on, and not even let him be a factor in this game. So that's what I'm hoping happens. But Ayuk probably won't be a big factor in this game if Jimmy starts. But if Trey starts, he's going to be a big factor, because as we saw in the last game, Trey was looking for Ayuk, and he can complete those passes down the field. And that's where that's Ayuk's bread and butter. So it just depends on which QB starts. But will Kittle be a factor? I mean, regardless of who starts for the QB position, Kittle is going to be a factor in the run game. So I fully expect, I don't care who's QB, they're going to run the ball a lot in this game. And so that means Kittle's going to be a factor in that run game. And he's probably, next to Trent Williams, the best blocker. Well, I would say Trent and Laken Tomlinson. But I mean, next to those two, he's the best blocker that they got. So, yeah, but Kittle's going to make himself a factor. He's that's what's so beautiful about that guy, is that even if he's not catching the ball, he's still going to be a factor. But it's impossible to predict what's going to happen on offense. but I really think that the offense could, it doesn't matter who plays at QB. I really feel the offense could struggle in this game because they've already played them once, and kind of traditionally speaking, the that second game, it's always more of a struggle when you play that team a second time because they've already seen what you got. But that's what's kind of unique about this game is that we really don't know what's going to happen, and that could be why Kyle's waiting to tell him which QB is starting. But I really don't think that it matters. I think he needs to just go in with the confidence that he can scheme it up and that he can beat him regardless. So, but all right, let's get to the defense. So Aziz, Greenlaw, Mose Hurst, Tart, and Marcel Harris are all questionable. But we have one humongous bright spot. Emmanuel Mosley is returning. It's gonna be huge to have him back in the because he was having a great season before he got hurt. And the other bright spot is that Embry Thomas got cleared off a COVID list. So, and he has just been improving every single week. So it's having, I think for the first time in a long time, I think the 49ers are going to have two competent corners. And we know Embry Thomas is probably going to get a bulk of the passes thrown at him, because I don't think that they're going to really go at Emmanuel Mosley. Not that Emmanuel Mosley is some shutdown corner, but he's been solid all season. And they might try him because he's coming off an injury. But I fully expect them to go after Embry Thomas. But this is where D'Amico Ryans comes in, because he has been able to kind of disguise his defense enough to hide Embry and hide those corners. And we'll see how he works it out this week. But Lenore, Jimmy Ward, Kawan Williams, and Dante Johnson all still on the COVID list. I think that we will find out on probably late Saturday, maybe early Sunday, that they're coming off of the COVID list. I think that's why they reported it so early and had them test so early, is so that they could take advantage of the CDC guidelines, and that they would just have to spend their 5 days and then they would be back. So I fully, the only thing that's really bad about this is that they didn't get a chance to practice, and that they're going to be kind of cold. But they're going to be kind of cold in this game because they haven't had any practice. But we will have those guys. I think that maybe everybody but Lenore. I think everybody but Lenore will be, because Lenore we just found out today he's on the COVID list. So I don't think Lenore is going to make it back in time. But the D-line should still dominate. They've been dominating for weeks now. And last game, not so much. I think they only had 3 sacks. But I mean, the fact that we can say they had 3 sacks, most teams would be okay with that. Most teams would be fine with that. But for us, it's kind of like, that's an off week. But I really want to see Nick Bosa get involved. We've had 2 kind of straight weeks where he's been getting doubled and chipped, and teams have really been focusing on him, and he hasn't really been able to fight through it. So but that meant that the rest of the D-line has been able to eat, and I'm really kind of looking forward to him kind of breaking out in this game. I want to see him assert himself. So it's while it's easy to say when you're getting double teamed and chipped and all the other, I still want to see it. I think he needs to get ready for these playoffs, and I think he needs to be the dominating force that we all know that he can be. So, but what is D'Amico's game plan going to look like this week? I think my personal opinion, I think it may be similar to when they played the Bengals, because the Bengals had a similar kind of explosive, and it's different. It was different, but they both have really kind of explosive explosive offenses, and with good quarterbacks. So I just feel like it might be a similar type of game plan, and you're probably going to see a lot of too high, and yeah, it's going to be probably a similar game plan. But what corners are going to be available? I mean, what side is are they going to line up on? Who is Ambry Thomas going to have to cover? Who is Emmanuel Mosley going to have to cover? And how does he look coming off an injury? We'll see. We'll see because they haven't been able to practice, so we don't really know. But Warner needs to lead this defense in this game. That's my estimation. That's really how I see this game playing out. And he needs to outthink Matt Stafford. I think he really needs to kind of dominate Matt Stafford mentally and kind of confuse him to so that and make him make that mistake. I want to see Warner get a pick in this game. I want to see Jimmy Ward get a pick in this game. I want our vets to kind of show out. They're the ones that really need to assert themselves and let everybody know that they're the reason why we're here. So, but they can't look past the Rams run game. Sony Michel has been solid the last few weeks, and don't think that you can just kind of look past them. He's a little bit bigger of a back, and the 49ers have been superb against the run. But you just can't get overconfident, and I hope that they can still dominate that run just like they have been. But Kyle says Greenlaw is supposed to be back, should be back for this game. Clutch player in the past. Can he be clutch in this moment? Aziz was questionable. I think if Aziz can go, I think I play Aziz. I think Aziz is just as dominant as Warner, and he is proven it game after game. But I have faith in all of our linebackers. We have a good linebacking group. Everybody that's had to step up has stepped up. So we're not afraid. It matters, but it doesn't matter who's in there, because I think that whoever's in there is going to make plays, and I fully expect that is definitely one of the strengths of this defense, and I fully expect them to kind of dominate that middle part of the field. But like I said, no matter what QB starts, this defense is gonna have to keep them in the game. They're gonna have, because I feel like it's gonna be a close game. I don't think it's gonna be a ton of points. I don't think it's gonna be a shootout. I think that the defenses are gonna kind of show out in this game, and but yeah, the defense is gonna have to carry them. So how long do they have to be on the field is going to be the question. Can the 49ers sustain drives and keep the defense fresh? It's going to be a big key to this game. But like I said, it's going to be a close game all the way to the end. Bosa needs to make his presence felt. I really feel like he needs to be a game wrecker on that defensive line, and he needs to just destroy their offensive line, just so the guys like Ebicom and Arden Key and Jordan Willis and DJ Jones can do what they do best, which is play off of him. And but overall, my prediction for this game, time for the prediction. My prediction for this game is 49ers 24, Rams 21. I'm gonna predict the win like a homer should. I'm a homer. I can't help it. But I'm gonna predict the win because I want this for the 49ers so bad. I think that they have, starting how they started this season and fighting as hard as Deebo Samuel and all the players on this team have fought all season, to despite the up and down quarterback play and all that kind of stuff. I feel like this team could do some things in the playoffs. I don't know if they can get to a Super Bowl, but I just feel like this team deserves to go to the playoffs and deserves to to destroy some team's hopes. That's really what I want to see. So, but do the Ram like my final little takes on it, and the final questions that I have for this game is: do the Rams toughen up? Have they toughened up for since the last time we met them? I don't think they have. I think the 49ers are going to hit them in the mouth. At least they're at least going to try and hit them in the mouth and see what happens. And I think that they are going to try and run the ball down their throat, and I think that they are going to try and be physical with at the wide receiver position, and it's going to be a very physical. I think it's going to be a very physical game. Are the Rams tough enough to take that? Once again, what QB starts for the 49ers on Sunday? We're not going to know till then. When will we find out? Kyle could tell us tomorrow, but I don't think we're going to find out till Sunday. So there's no real point in even though I've talked about it multiple times on this podcast, there's no real reason to ache over it. Like it's just it is what it is. So does the 49er run game dominate? Have the Rams figured out a way to stop this run game? Because last 5 games they couldn't. But can they just get us at the point of attack? Can their linebackers cover from sideline to sideline? And I think the answer is no. I think the 49ers are going to physically dominate them, but we shall see. Does Shanny continue his mental domination of McVay? Do we still see McVay throwing clipboards on the sideline because he just can't figure it out? And I'm just really interested to see if he goes 6-0. If the Shanny goes 6-0 against McVay, I don't know. I kind of think you have to look at McVay like start to give him a little bit of side eye that you can't figure out how to beat this one scheme. I mean, now granted, most teams don't play a physical brand of offense like the 49ers do. So you don't really have to prepare for it that much. But I mean, you've got to be able to come up with a game plan to stop it at some point. So, but with all the 49ers healthy, it's up to Shannon to scheme this one up. That's the way I'm seeing this offense. And it's with the Debos and the Kittles and the Jennings and Elijah Mitchells, it's up to him. He's got players. There's no excuse. The offensive line's playing well. Like, there's no excuse. He needs to scheme this up. He's going to play whoever he wants to play at the QB spot. So he's going to have to scheme it up. He should be hitting on all cylinders. I don't care who's starting. So, yeah, it's going to be up to him to scheme this one up. I'm really excited to see it. If Jimmy starts and they lose, there is no excuse. I don't care about his hand. Because, Kyle, you decided to start him. So there will be no excuses. But the Jimmy fans, will create one, whether it be the defense. The defense gave up 14 points or 1 point more than the other team than we got. And so it's the defense's fault. They find ways to blame everybody but Jimmy. But if Trey starts and they lose, the Jimmy fans are going to be unbearable. They're going to be unbearable. It's going to be all over Twitter. It's going to be all over everywhere, Facebook, everywhere, that they are just going to be, what if? We should have never trusted Trey Lance. I don't understand. Jimmy's just a winner, all that nonsense. But we just won a Niner victory. We just won a 49er victory at the end of the day, and to get back to the playoffs, because anything can happen in the playoffs. So we just want the 49er victory. Like, we want to see, we all need to come together as 49er fans and just root on the team. Doesn't matter who's starting. Jimmy starts, even though I talked bad about Jimmy in this video, I'm still going to root on him. I'm still going to root for him. I'm still want him to succeed because I want the 49ers to win. But thank you guys for listening and watching and supporting. Hit the like and subscribe. as well as the bell so you can get the notifications when the new videos pop up. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and it's going to be a really exciting game. Like I know everybody's going to be watching, and I know everybody is going to be on pins and needles for this game. We all can't wait for Sunday. So, but as always, thank you guys, and go Niners.